everyone, I'm Joel Cristiawan and this is a video about my new desk setup for 2026. Now, throughout the years, I've moved on to many desk setups and each desk features a philosophy that is subjective to its users. So for me, I like to go by the principle of essentialism. Essentialism is in between maximalist and minimalist. So on the maximalist side, you would want to have everything on your desk. For example, a gamer might have RGB lights over his desk and also these headsets and mouses that they don't really matter to the experience, but they do add that sense of comfort and familiarity for many people. Now, on the contrary, minimalist users prefer having a clean desk. But with a problem with that, for me personally, you will have mess over your desk and you will be spending time more of cleaning and keeping that aesthetic over actually using the desk for your workflow. So what I did with Essentialism is everything that you like about your desk in your desk setup without compromising on the cleanliness that Essentialism offered through a minimalist perspective. It might sound weird, but it'll make sense once we got there. So the desk setup still centers around the desk itself. Now, my desk isn't an ordinary desk. For most YouTubers that I saw, they will comment on standing desk or these IKEA desks that you can get for cheap. But for me, I use a desk with a custom job, so it isn't just pre-built. It's configured in a way that it also includes drawers, compartments, top and bottom, these cupboards with glass panels, bookshelves, and also a trophy compartment. Machine powering this desk setup is the M4 MacBook Air I got a few months ago. It's the 24GB model and the 512GB of storage, 10-core CPU, 10-core GPU, and this machine has been a beast of its own. As a previous owner of an M1 iMac, there's a difference between M4 and the M1 pretty significantly, but what helps the MacBook Air become my favorite machine is just its thinness. I will still need a bigger display. 13 inches is just not enough to do most of the work that I do, like video editing and coding. That's why I have a LG UltraFine UP850KW, which is a 27-inch display featuring a 4K resolution IPS display, and it features a plastic build. Now, it's not the best build, but what can the monitor deliver well is the color accuracy. Color spaces like DCI P3 or sRGB are very important in basic things really, like content and video editing or even graphics design. It's important for you to know what these colors actually look like in real life, and that's where color accuracy nails it the most. And this display has been really sharp and colorful that I am able to do all my workflow with this display, and I use the MacBook display as a secondary monitor. Now, for accessories, you might hate me on this one, but I do use a Magic Mouse. Now, you might hate me for this and that is fine, but I personally use the Magic Mouse because Final Cut Pro is much easier to use when you know the trackpad gestures and horizontal scrolling. It's much faster to do things and edit with the horizontal scrolling. Things like Better Touch Tool app that enables you to have these custom gestures on trackpads, and the Magic Mouse because it is basically a trackpad sensor inside. So it does help my workflow even if it's not the most ergonomic. The second accessory I use is the keyboard. The keyboard is one of the most essential things inside of a desk setup, and what I use is the AJAZZ AK850 Max keyboard, which is one of the creamiest keyboards I've ever tested. Now, it might seem weird, but when you use it, you are able to type very comfortably, and it does feature things like Bluetooth connectivity, a USB receiver included, Windows and Mac mode, basically switching between the Windows and Alt key. This is very important when you are switching between devices. It also features RGB lighting, flying fish switches, which you can configure to other switches too, and it features hot swappable keys, which means that you can change the switches or the keys in the future. Now the third accessory that I want to show is actually my earbuds. So what I use is the AirPods 2. Now this isn't the newest and greatest, but it does the job pretty well. I used to use Sony headphones, but the thing about AirPods is the connectivity and the fact that I can switch between devices very seamlessly. Apple has always nailed it with the ecosystem, so when I move from my iPhone to my Mac and iPad, my AirPods can switch dynamically. Another accessory that I use and very essential for video editing is the robot dongle. So this is a USB hub that I use, and the thing about this one is I already have a dongle previously. I think the video is pretty old by now. It usually works by attaching a big chunk of metal with ports on your MacBook. I bought that one because I thought that it would be easier to carry stuff around and I don't need to carry a big dongle. But the thing is, with that, it scratches the paint of your MacBook and it also transfers the heat into the board itself, which is why I got this USB hub instead. It has been working perfectly fine with USB-A ports, an SD card slot, and an HDMI port, which does everything I need to do. And the last accessory that I want to show you is actually a Seagate 1TB UltraTouch hard drive disk. So it's not the most fastest, it really caps out at 114 megabytes per second. But the thing about these hard drives and external ones is when you get the hard drives instead of the SSDs, you are getting large capacities at a much cheaper price. Now for this one, I got the 1TB model, and since I edit in Final Cut Pro, I need backups, I need the project that I'm working on, and each project can take spaces up to 60 to 150 gigabytes of footage, and the libraries too, which is why an external hard drive is really useful for me for editing the stuff. And for the last part of my desk setup is actually just the tiny things that I personally feel comfortable of putting in. So things like the Fiorina and Robin merch that you might be seeing on the previous footages. There's some fake plants to add color inside of my desk setup so it doesn't look as boring, and an old Nikon 3200, and the camera itself is not very good, but it still holds a lot of memories from the past, and I really enjoy having a piece of past and memory on my desk, because one of the most important aspects of a desk isn't really about the expensive tools that you offer, the most expensive studio lights filled with these equipments. It's just really about how you move inside of your desk setup to do your workflow. Now for the last part is an accessory that you have found on previous videos is the Soundtech 2.1 mic. It's not the best mic, but it still does a job for a budget mic. Now it features things like a stand for certain configurations. You are getting a noise reducer in some of the models. It enables me to have a clear audio when speaking to you. It also has 3 modes: the mute switch, a 1-person talking switch, and a multiple person switch for a podcast, or maybe if you're doing an interview, which is what this mic will excel. Now it's really heavy. This mic is much denser than it might seem on camera. When I'm using the stand, it usually falls off if it's on the wrong direction or position because it is quite heavy and the stand needs to balance it properly. But overall, this is my desk setup for 2026. It's my studio and this is how I will work with my workflows throughout the year. Now, tell me about your experiences with your desk setup and what you love about your setup in the first place. This is my video for today. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next one.